With Father's Day coming up here in the UK this weekend, I wanted to share something a little more personal in my video. My dad passed away 10 years ago from causes actually unrelated to MEN1, but it shaped a huge part both of his life and of mine too. In fact, it's a big reason I'm actually on this healing journey right now. This video is not about his life or his death, but his legacy, and it's only a decade later that I can really see it in this way. So today I want to remember him in the best way that I know how. My dad was brilliant, absolutely bonkers and baffling all at the same time. He was incredibly intelligent, quick-witted, and had the best vocabulary of anyone I've ever known. He was loyal, loving, generous man who was socially a little more on the introverted side, but fiercely curious. And he used to say, if you don't ask, you don't get, which probably explains why I now talk to complete strangers without hesitation. I never hesitate to put a foot forward. But he had a shadow side too, and he lived in deep fear of worst case scenarios, often displaying what I would call paranoid behaviour. He retreated back into himself. He really struggled to process his own emotions and therefore to connect with people, even those of us who loved him the most. It's only now that I really understand what I see in someone else is often happening inside me too, or at least a version of it. I appreciate how imperfectly human he was, and it's something that I couldn't appreciate in him at the time. I never really understood it. I didn't get it. But his MEN1 journey was a rough one. Years of misdiagnoses in his 30s and 40s while he was working a high-pressure job in London and raising a family at the same time. Then 2 weeks after my younger sister was born, his sister, my aunt, passed away suddenly in their mum's arms. She had MEN1, undiagnosed until the post-mortem revealed calcium deposits all over her body. That loss is actually what finally led to my dad's diagnosis. MEN1 hadn't been recognised for very long before that. He went through major GI surgery, complications, 10 weeks in hospital, and I remember being gutted that he wasn't at home for my 6th birthday. He just never complained. He got on with it. He took his meds, managed his symptoms. He had 3.5 parathyroids removed. He even joked about it. He convinced my younger cousins that his surgery scar on his tummy was a shark bite. And he used to tell us that they would take Fanta bottle size worth of blood for testing. I know he felt fortunate to have the best care in London possible, and it really inspired me when I began building my A team. He was devastated when my sister and I were diagnosed. I believe he felt guilty for passing it on, even though none of this was his fault whatsoever. What I knew was something deep inside me. This little girl heart was telling me not to worry, you're going to be okay. It'll be different for you. That voice is what I come back to and I listen to every single day, and is the one behind all the content that you see here on this page. But maybe it's one that he didn't have inside him. Growing up, I followed his lead on everything. My parents did the best they could with the knowledge that they had at the time, and that was more than many families ever get. My dad passed away only months before my own second lot of pancreas surgery. We could have all done with him then. It was not an easy time. And it wasn't until many years later that our paths forked entirely, because I discovered functional medicine and epigenetics, which began what I call now my healing journey. That was the start of bucking all my classic M1 patient trends, and I started doing things just very, very differently. I don't think my dad's traditional approach, which was essentially just listening to doctors and following the medical system, was wrong. Not for him and not for me at that time, because it kept me safe until I was ready for something more, to step outside of that. Would he understand what I was doing now? The supplements, the woo-woo, the hippie, the healing, I just don't know. He might have laughed at it a little bit. But near the end, he did actually start doing some yoga. He was reading Eckhart Tolle. I think deep down, he was just beginning to step onto a different path. And maybe part of his legacy was to pass that baton to me. I inherited a lot from him. The vocabulary, the humour, the asking questions, the stubbornness, The fear, all of it. In some ways, I think the disease that underpinned his diagnosis and mine was the same, passed down in more than just physical symptoms, unprocessed emotion, grief, survival mechanisms, disease. I like to believe I'm now healing it for both of us, perhaps many generations back to and those yet to come. He taught me about advocacy, even if I didn't realise it at the time. I've since found out that he was pretty formidable with my doctors and my sister's doctors. He made sure that we went through the least trouble possible. I don't know if he advocated for himself in the same way, but I do know that he was very clever and he used that intelligence to look after us. It's something I do now too. I've developed it to make sure it comes from a place of true self-awareness, and it's one of the reasons I have had such successful healthcare with trend-bucking results. He has been the best example of both what to do and also what not to do. I couldn't really ask for any more in a dad. MEN1 shaped his life, it is shaping mine, and now I get to shape something different for myself. I don't know if he would have found the same path that I'm on, but I do know he'd be massively proud of me, and that feels like healing to me. If any of this video resonates, or you're living with a diagnosis called MEN1 and wondering if there is another way forward to what you are experiencing now, I have put together a free guide on how I'm reversing my symptoms without medication or surgery. You'll find the link below in the description box. Thank you for watching, and happy Father's Day wherever this lands in your heart.